What is going on, guys? So check this out. That's an interesting creature that I found on the side of the road. Like smoke of fraps, things off of Ford Nuggets. Anyways, guys, as you already seen on the title, new truck, the Ford. Honestly, I just made one video on the Ford when I got it, and let me just say one thing. As soon as I finished that video, drove the Ford for another week or so, and posted it up for sale. So don't really want to go too much into detail on the Ford on this video, because this is a video showing y'all the new truck. Let's just say the Ford was not the way to go for me anyways. Maybe for other people, but not for us. So I guess you could say I'm a die-hard Chevy or GM guy in general. So this is what we got. It does have a few mods already, as you can see. It's lifted. Make a separate video some other time describing all the mods that I've done to it. But let's go over what we got. So this is a 2020 Chevy Silverado Z71 Ltz Z. Look at this beauty. I did end up selling the Ford, and I actually profited about $4 grand off the Ford, surprisingly. So that was pretty badass. So let me go ahead and make a little kind of like a little demonstration video, and I'll go over some details here in a second. So y'all enjoy. So there I gave you a little walk around of the truck itself. Like I said, it's a 2020 Chevy Silverado Z71 Ltz Z. This is the pretty much, besides the high country, this is the second trim that has, you know, all the bells and whistles. It does have a 5.3, like I said. It's not the 6.2, but in this case scenario, I'm not being too picky on these gens, just because I don't know, something about this gen of Chevy Silverado I've really fallen in love with. When it first came out, I was very judgmental. I was like, dude, that thing is ugly, this and that. As years passed by, I was like, holy shit, like, I don't know, the more I saw them, the more modified I seen them around, I just fell in love with the truck. In my opinion, I had a choice between this, a Dodge, a GMC, or another Ford that was newer, and my heart already knew that it was going to be a Chevy. The GMCs are really nice, and obviously y'all know that the GMCs and Chevys are pretty much the same thing, just a little bit of differences in appearances. And yeah, pretty much the GMC and Chevys, they're the same thing, just, you know, they have a little bit of different details and stuff like that, different options for both trucks. But for this year model, or for this gen, I fell in love with the Chevys. I don't know why, but I just love how mean the front end looks on these Chevys. I love the GMCs too, don't get me wrong. I've owned GMC pickups for, like, you know, half my whole channel, but on this gen, I had my heart set on this gen Chevy. I was not getting something different. This was the one that I wanted, and I already knew I wasn't gonna settle for anything that wasn't four-wheel drive. I wanted it to be four-wheel drive. The 6.2 and 5.3, I mean, I would love the 6.2, but hey, there's nothing wrong with the 5.3. I think the 5.3 is a pretty solid engine, and with a few little bit of mods here and there, the 5.3 can be producing some decent power. You know, I don't plan on modding her anytime soon, but that's just for future. But anyways, so I can see I already installed a lift kit on it. I don't know, but I just love the stance on this truck. Here in a second, we're gonna go over some details. I'm probably gonna go drop off the kiddos, or wife and kiddo, and let them relax at the house, and then we'll go over some more details. Like I said, this is the LTZ, so it is preloaded with options. It's not the high country. The high country is the highest trim that Chevy Silverado makes, and then after that it's the LTZ. Back in the day, LTZ was the highest trim, but on these newer gens, you know, they've made so many other trims like the Trail Balls, the ZR2, the LTZs, high countries. You know, there's so many trims to choose from, but this is an LTZ that's come with a Z71 four-wheel drive package, Texas edition. So there is a lot of details this one has, which we will be going over here in a second. But yeah, that's the truck, guys. What do y'all think of it so far? Me personally, it's been my favorite, absolute favorite truck that I've owned. I know I said a lot of good things about the Ford. Yeah, trust me, Fords they're pretty nice. They got their you know, their pros, but in my opinion, they got more cons than you know, I would have wished for or asked for. Just the Ford overall, well, that specific gen Ford felt so cheap in the inside and so, I guess you could say, work truck feel, that I just couldn't stand it. So for sure, by far, the Chevy just feels a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more, I guess you could say, luxurious. I know this is the LTZ, but on the Ford, you know, it was a little bit of the loaded, what's it called, a model. It was the XLT with the SX4 and stuff like that. It wasn't no Platinum, wasn't no Lariat, so I know I'm comparing apples to pears, but still overall, the Ford I didn't like. There's a lot of things that I didn't like about the Ford, but we'll be going over those in a different video. For now, like I said, this is going to be what we're going to be working with. So I really love the truck. So here in a second, let's go ahead and go over some details, and I'll show you all the options that it comes with. All right.